By investing in the soil and making sure the soil is in good condition with lots of organic matter, which is good, the green manure as well, with good drainage, your plants will manage their own nutrients, which you're always saying about they'll take care of themselves, and will need minimal care from you throughout the year, which is perfect. This can be just as useful for the experienced gardeners that it can be for beginners. So we're going to go over the basics today so it can help everyone. So occasionally we forget to do the basics well, and this sets us up for a naff harvest. It does. And I've been fooled with this as well. I've cut corners on occasion, and then I haven't had the best year. I've changed what I've done with the tomatoes, so they haven't been as good. Last year was a bit of a naff year. I did things differently. Things just don't work. If you don't get the basics right, the rest of it doesn't fall into place, and you don't have a good harvest. It's just simple. So yeah, set you up for naff harvest and unhappy and vulnerable plants. So when you have vulnerable plants, if they're unhealthy, if they're malnourished, they need more care from you. They need more feeding and more support. They're more prone to pest and disease damage. Pests will literally find them from anywhere. There will be a magnet for them. So if you ever have an unhealthy looking plant, they're going to need so much more care from you, so much more time, support. So if you keep the basics going well, your plants will be happier and healthier. They won't be so vulnerable. They won't have to need so much more care from you, cost so much more money, more feeding, more time, more support. Has a knock-on effect. So basics. Okay, so doubling back and looking at the basics can actually be more helpful to you than be a hindrance. So definitely worth doing. So what kind of things are we talking about when we say basics? 3 things I would do if I was starting out as a new gardener, if you like, as a vegetable grower, to set up my garden, is setting up my garden for best support, both for me and for the plants. So keeping a planner of what I need to do when, what jobs I need to do next, and when I'm sowing, when I'm planting, when I'm harvesting, that kind of thing. And as I say, the jobs that I need to do one after the other. So I haven't always got to think about stuff. And growing plants that are reliable, good producers, because a successful harvest boosts your confidence. If you're a new grower, if you're new to vegetable growing, and your first harvest is really naff because you've gone to the funny coloured fruit and veg, which are fantastic and they work. They aren't always the best producers though. Can knock your confidence in your first year. So go for reliable varieties that you know you're going to get loads and loads of fruit and veg from. This will boost your confidence. You can still experiment as you go. And if you've got a good year to start yourself off to get your confidence up, to then maybe start experimenting as you go the following years, as you can, then you can. So that's fine. But yeah, I would, if I was starting out now, I would pick the reliable, good varieties to boost my confidence before I started to experiment. So as far as the basics go, setting up your garden can be the most important thing to think about in any gardening situation. Whether it's a flower bed, whether it's a veg patch, whether it's containers, whether it's a hanging basket garden, setting your garden up is the most important thing. So what do I mean by setting up? The setup will meet the outcome. So if you set up well, you're going to have success. So the veg patch needs at least 8 hours of light, sunshine a day. Free draining soil as well, ideally, healthy soil as well, ideally, but 8 hours of sunlight to get good crops, good fruit, good healthy plants. Now, this is the majority of veg plants or fruit and veg plants, but some will quite happily grow in partial shade. So if you've got a garden that's mostly sunny most of the day and has partial shade, you can get away with that. It won't be as good for leafy greens, very leafy vegetables, lettuces, salad crops, that kind of thing, but you can do it. It will work. So that's your flip of the coin on that one. 8 hours of light, ideally, free draining soil and healthy soil. So soil is important. One of the most important parts of your garden is one of the 3 aspects of the garden ecosystem. For your veg patch to be successful with minimal care and stress, you need to provide long-term support, not reactive support. So you're not looking for problems and then treating them. You're preventing problems in the long run by giving them everything they need by supporting the soil. This will ensure that your plants remain healthy and recover faster with more resilience, meaning you won't have to be treating them all the time. You won't have to look after them so much. They will need much less support and much less attention from you, so you can relax and enjoy your veg patch as best you can. By investing in the soil and making sure the soil is in good condition with lots of organic matter, which is good, the green manure as well, with good drainage, your plants will manage their own nutrients, which you're always saying about they'll take care of themselves, and will need minimal care from you throughout the year, which is perfect. Keep a planner. Now, oh, it's here. Planner. My planner, and I've created. It's not designed, as I say, for vegetable patches, but yeah, somewhere in here I have got garden jobs maintenance, weekly planner. I don't know if you can see that weekly planner that I've got in there. I have got a monthly and I've got a seasonal one. There you go, seasonal. I knew it was in there somewhere. And a seasonal one. So you can go through and write in the spring and summer what you're planting, what your vegetables are going to be, what you want to plant, what you want to sow, when you want to sow them, etc. But that's all in there. So it's a really good planner, that one, if I do say so myself, because I created it. But it's got some very useful planner pages in there that can help you to keep track of what you're sowing when you need to harvest, when you need to harvest it, when you need to plant out, the jobs you need to do one after the other, so you don't lose track. Because believe you me, if you don't have to remember this stuff, you don't forget it. That makes sense. It's written down in a planner, and you can just keep referring back to it. You don't have to try and keep it all in your head. Makes life so much easier for yourself. So keep a planner. If I was starting out now as a new vegetable grower, I would, and I do, keep a planner.